Okay, so we watched The Room. I had never seen it before. I saw part of it, but I didn't get through it. And our friend Kyle, who comes on the stream, you guys know Kyle. He comes in. He'll probably pop in. He's in that movie. So I got to see him do his acting thing, and he threw the football around.
He nailed
He
it.
was he acted like a completely normal human.
Like
yeah.
an actual human. He did act like a human. If you guys don't know what The Room is, it's like it's famously one of the worst movies ever made, and Kyle would not be offended by hearing me say that because that is quite frankly what it is. And they made a movie called The Disaster Artist about The Room because it is one of the, and it's not only just one of the worst movies ever made. It is
Artfully bad.
artfully bad, but also definitely aliens. If you watch the movie, watch it with the mindset you go, okay, if this movie was made by aliens, like think about that. Everyone in the movie is an alien, and this movie was written, produced, directed, cast by everything, all of them aliens. Watch The Room.
Except for Kyle, who's just like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is going
No,
on?
but even
Wait,
Kyle.
who was Kyle in the room?
Kyle is
He was the psychologist. Peter.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'll give you this. Kyle is probably the least alien in it, but also still an alien in this movie. And I don't know if it's the movie making people look like aliens or if they are actually aliens. And so I'm going to have to ask Kyle about this. Okay.
Hey, Peter.
Hey, Kyle. Hey, Mohib!
Sorry.
I have to be honest. I watched The Room properly for the first time this week.
Oh no.
I have some questions.
I had many questions. Even still.
You have questions too? Is there something that you haven't really like told anybody? Like do you know him?
No, I didn't know him before the filming and haven't really spent much time after the shoot. I see
So
him now
your
and again.
experience with him is just pretty confined to when you shot it. Like, did you guys do tours with it?
I didn't. I will bump into him at conventions now and again, or even say hi if I see him at a screening if I'm there. But no, I didn't do like any promotions for it. Wasn't one of the things we did.
How is he now with you? Like, is he like
We're cordial.
cordial?
Yeah,
That
we'll be friendly when we see each other.
cordial is a very loaded word.
But yeah, we're friendly with each other when we see each other.
Are you comfortable with this? I promise you, I don't want to like make you uncomfortable if this is like.
Oh no, you can ask whatever you want.
It's just the whole thing is very fascinating to me. And when you worked with him, do you feel like he's like played up his sort of oddness and his weirdness since that? Like, when you shot with him, did he seem sort of normal, or was it clearly something?
No, I think that's pretty much him. I haven't seen him really act very different anytime since then.
How did you end up in the film? Did you go through the proper like just like an audition process?
Yeah, he posted in Backstage West, if I remember right, and I submitted that way, and then brought people in, and I was one of the people he brought in, and we auditioned.
And was it like a process, or did he go you?
It's only been about 20 years, so it's hard to remember exactly.
So, oh my God! Yeah, I didn't even consider that. Yeah. God, it has been 20 years.
19 this summer.
God.
Wow.
It was a process. It wasn't like as soon as I walked in, he said, "You're the one I want." But it wasn't long after I auditioned that he offered me the role. And from what I've heard from other people, I was his first choice for Peter.
Right. What's the sense that you get of him? Like, where do you think that this sort of like savantness comes from? Like, what's your vibe when you talk to him? Is it something where you feel like, okay, well, this is from this, or this? Like, do you have some sort of idea of where this sort of persona comes from?
Oh, the personality that he has?
Yeah.
No. I think it's just him. He came from a really weird time in Europe and moved over to the U.S. to try to make his fortune, and so far has done everything that he wants to do in order to try to succeed.
But where in Europe?
I know where he's from, but I know he doesn't tell people, so I
Okay,
respect that.
okay, yeah,
Is
sure,
it a
sure.
secret country that we don't
What?
know about yet? Is it white
Is it-
people Wakanda?
Oh my
Is it a secret country?
We were all thinking it.
I can neither confirm nor deny if it's a hidden country in the mountains of Eastern Europe.
Okay, got it. Okay, cool. And where'd the money come from?
What kind of money?
Yeah, what kind of money, Denny?
Mohib, I'm about to mute your ass.
we have some suspicions, but it was never explained to us in the cast where the money was coming from.
Okay.
It was always just specified it was coming from a producer,
Ah.
Chloe. Although we don't think that was the sole source for the money. I tend to just make up things when people ask me that.
Good.
Like, I've said he's the one who invented that little plastic three-legged table inside the pizza boxes.
All right.
That's how he made all of his money.
I like that.
Things like that. But no, we've never been made privy to the money.
Okay.
There's also the rumor that he's DB Cooper, and that's where he got the money. Those are the questions that were like burning in my brain. Wait, one more question. The football thing. What's the football thing? We asked him that more than once, and generally the response was, football is an American thing, and this is something that Americans do. So,
Okay.
to be
Yeah.
American, you play football.
It is really quite an interesting thing, and I'm so behind on it because now I want to read that book. I want to watch the movie that was based off of it.
The movie is not really the book. The movie is its own story.
Right.
It made some liberties to make it a good movie, because books don't always show too well on screen. So they made some changes that aren't in the book in the movie. In fact, I would say the person playing me in the movie was doing things, almost exclusively did things that I never did.
Wasn't it Nathan Fielder?
Yes.
Wait, Nathan Fielder played you in the fucking movie?
Oh yeah.
What?
I've been thinking
Mhm.
Oh
someone
my
to play
God.
you.
Kyle,
was-
Played you
I
playing
was joking
someone.
when I was talking to James before they started that I could play me, and generally the intention I got was one person playing themselves and nobody else playing themselves would be kind of weird.
Right.
Then
But
I
that
said,
seems on
well,
brand.
then, I could play Greg, the guy who replaces me, so I could replace me in the movie.
Wait. What do you mean who? You play the guy who replaces you in the. Wait, this is getting so fucking meta.
Wait, did you do that? I haven't seen The Disaster Artist.
No, that character wasn't really in the Disaster Artist. But remember
Oh.
in the room where I just kind of disappear and then this random guy shows up at the party?
Yeah.
That was supposed to be
That
you?
guy-
That's you?
Oh,
That
yeah, so
was
you
my,
are the
that was
guy
my
that
role.
They
Those were my
replaced
lines.
the
and
actor.
he just gave to a different character named Steven.
Oh my God.
I thought he was just going to give those lines to Denny because Denny says absolutely nothing throughout the party.
What? Can I ask? Is it knowledge why you got replaced suddenly?
I had a strict shooting schedule. I had 4 weeks I could shoot, and then I had another project that I had to go and shoot that I was already committed to. And I
Is
let
that-
them know that. And they knew that before this started, but then they hit some delays. One of the big delays being he recast the person playing Mark after we'd been shooting for almost a week. And he was about 4 or 5 days after the shoot schedule started before we even rolled a frame. So that's about 2 weeks gone that we had to reshoot those scenes and get that stuff, which put them behind schedule. And so it cut into my availability to the point where I was just like, I let him know beforehand. I reminded when we started. I reminded when we hit delays. I reminded him a week before I was going to go. I reminded him a couple days before I was going to go. And then the last day I was like, this is it. And he still seemed to be surprised. And it was just like, sorry, I've given you all that I can.
Wow.
Why did he recast Mark?
Oh, I think that's
Not
that
probably.
might be in the book. If it's not, essentially the first actor who was playing Mark, I don't mention his name because he's never stepped up to claim that. So I respect the fact that he might not want to be
Yeah,
associated.
of course. It's not. Yeah.
But he was there, and at the same time he was doing a play in Hollywood, so not far, that was on every Thursday evening. And it was an agreement with them that he was going to go and do that play, since it was a late curtain, like 7 p.m. curtain, every Thursday. And the first Thursday we were filming, he was like, okay, it's like 6:45. I'm going to go. And Tommy said, no, you can't leave until I let you go. And he was like, no, we've got this agreement. I'm done shooting for the day. I don't have any more scenes, and I'm supposed to be there, so I'm leaving whether you want me to or not. And they got into this big fight right there, at which point Sandy, the scriptie, stepped up and was like, look, can we deal with this tomorrow? We're filming right now. We don't need him. We're shot for the day. Just let him go, and we'll deal with this tomorrow. And then the next day, there was this weird situation where we would film a scene with the first Mark, and then he put Greg in, and we were confused because we were shooting the exact same scene we just shot with the other actor. And we were like, what's going on? And he said, oh, well, they just want to see him on camera for another project, and we're just going to use this to give them some footage to see how he acts.
Wow.
That went on for 2 days. And it was during the second day when we were shooting outside on the green screen where I heard one of the camera crew, I can't remember who it was, but one of the camera crew, when we were filming with the first guy, made the comment of, why the hell are we doing this and not rolling any film? And I was like,
holy
what?
shit.
At which point the DP was like, this is pissing me off too. And we all got really pissed, and it got brought up to everybody. And they're like, okay, look, we're going to talk to him. And they said, look, if you don't want him, just pay him off, finish his contract, and let him go, because all you're doing is wasting people's time, wasting people's money. It's pissing everybody off.
Okay, so you were
Wow.
filming both digital and film on that set, right?
Yeah, 2 cameras simultaneously on one mount.
Fuck. Yeah, so Frank Stanklin in the chat was like, what's the lighting like? How did they light for both digital and film at the same time?
They just did.
It
was very weird.
Found a way to
There was
make
2
it work.
camera crews. There was the digital camera crew, and then there's the film camera crew, because it was totally different. I believe at one point he had bought all the digital tape for that camera in the city because it was limited.
Jesus Christ. He bought the cameras?
He did. I think it was $250,000 he paid for the
Oh
camera.
my god. That's
and-
where I
Yeah,
was
no,
like-
that's not, just to be clear for everybody, it's unheard of to buy the cameras for a production like that.
Yeah, it's uncommon because, one, equipment gets old and breaks and things, and if you're gonna keep making things, you might as well just keep using the newest and the ones without problems. So you just rent it. So buying it was kind of weird.
Buying it, I don't even, do big productions even buy cameras? They don't.
Only if they're gonna do something that would destroy it, like if they're dropping it from on high onto the ground or something. No, not usually.
That's so bonkers to me. This is so bonkers. What was the fucking vibe on set?
Well, you also have to remember, this was my first feature. The only thing I had done before this was like a short or two,
Right.
student shorts. So I had no real clue what it was like, other than the fact that it felt very weird. Although while we were filming, I was always saying, the making of this movie will make a better movie than the movie that we're making, and it was true. But
Right, you were.
it was a lot of shared grief, shared
Yeah.
trauma between the cast and the
Right.
crew. I mean, the crew we would lose the crew about every week. Uh,
No
Only like a
shit.
handful of people stayed. They were changing out crew every 3 days to a week. It was during a slow period, and people were coming in and just taking the job for some cash. But as soon as something bigger and better came along, they were gone. And some people couldn't deal with them even then.
This
It
is so stressful
is
to hear about
so
this.
great.
Like, I can't even
Uh,
imagine. You say a crew change out every 3 days to a week? That's crazy to me. And what was it? I'm sorry. How many weeks was it? 6 weeks?
I think they eventually went 5 or 6 weeks. I was only there for 4, but I think they shot for like a week or so after.
I
Um,
my like my chest is tightening about this,
Probably
Kyle.
why he bought the camera. It's because he kept losing the crew.
Yeah, that could be it. That's
No, he bought the camera before we even started crewing up. The first 4 days or 5 days when we were having the actors sit around on set doing nothing, they were still interviewing crew and hiring crew.
oh
They
man.
didn't have a DP until 2 or 3 days in, and I don't think they had makeup or a
They didn't have
wardrobe.
a DP?
No, no,
They shot without a DP.
no, they weren't shooting yet. We literally went, I think, 4 or 5 days without running a frame of film. It was just us sitting around on set as a cast.
Jesus
And then we did
Christ.
rehearsals for like 3 weeks before that, where we would all get together and run scenes to rehearse the stuff. And we didn't even have the whole scripts. We only had certain scenes because he wouldn't give anybody the full script. So it was like the same scene or two that you've done for like a month.
How was he with the actors? Was he do you feel did he give you any direction whatsoever or too much
He
direction?
tried.
Okay.
He tried, and some people took some more direction than others. The most of us of the prime cast, we would listen to what he said because if you didn't let him tell you what to do, he would get very angry, and then we would just do what we thought was best.
What was
Most of my performances was completely flying in the face of what he had intended.
well, that's probably why you were
Like for instance, the roof fight, the one
Mhm.
with Mark and Peter fighting on the roof.
Mhm.
The original scene was written in the fact that they get into the fight and he punches me in the stomach and I pass out. And then he walks over and picks up a bucket that's on the roof with water in it and comes over and throws it in my face to wake me up. Um, and when I read that, I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. And he was like, we're going to do it the way it's written. And then the day came to shoot it, and I brought it up again. I was like, we really can't do this. And he was like, here's the bucket. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that because
Here's
I
the
have
bucket.
Here's the bucket.
because I was like, I have one suit. This is one suit. It is my suit. We don't have time for it to dry off every time if we do a different take from a different
Yeah,
angle.
yeah.
We can't swap it out for a second because there is no second. And I would rather not ruin my suit that I'm providing for this shoot. We need to do something else. And he
So
got
you were
really mad and
fucking
had to,
directing the movie as an actor because somebody else wasn't doing that job. Because that's there. You cannot get somebody wet
yeah,
without another copy of the wardrobe unless you want to all sit around and wait for like another 45 minutes if for it to
yeah,
dry out.
and then makeup reapplies and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then but that was all a big fight there. He started getting mad, and the DP stepped up, and he immediately goes, look, we can't do that. We cannot. And the script, he stepped in and was like, there's no way we can keep continuity if you do this. And so we came up with what you see in the movie now, right there, right then. It took us like 2 or 3 minutes to stage that and plan that shot, which is why it looks kind of different than the rest of the stage shots in
Oh,
in
interesting.
the movie.
What is what does a fight with him look like?
Him yelling a lot, and you're either yelling back or you're just standing there. Uh,
I mean,
I don't know if it made it into the behind the scenes, but there's some behind the scenes footage um, where he was mad that people were showing up late to set, which was funny because he would take the camera home with him. So he would literally take the digital camera home with him, and there was no way to prep or do anything until he showed up on set. But he would be watching behind the scenes footage all night long, seeing what people were saying about him and what was doing. So
oh
he would
yeah, oh my
oversleep,
God.
and he wouldn't show up on set for 3 or 4 hours after first call. But there was no prep that could be done because he had the camera with him.
He didn't show up.
Um,
He would show up that late every single morning,
Not every single morning,
but
but repeatedly. And
regularly.
it was regularly, yeah.
Um,
And it caused problems. One of the
Nah.
complications
What?
leading to the other DP not wanting to be there. But as a result, he was very sensitive to other people showing up later than him.
Well, the thing that's crazy to me is like having worked on sets for a good majority of my life, right? Not necessarily like to the frequency that a lot of people have, but one of the
Still
biggest
enough that it's you know what's going on.
yeah, one of the most important things. There's two really important things on sets. One is safety, right? People are really serious about safety. Like if you're not a grip, you can't move anything, you'll get screamed at. And number two is you always show up 10 minutes early, because if you're not 10 minutes early, you're not on time. So call times are sacred. You don't fuck with call times. So when the director shows up 4 fucking hours late, that's crazy to me. Anyway, look, it's his movie, so I guess he does what he wants. And this is not me like shitting on him. Just the fact that this atmosphere existed on a set is so crazy to me. And that this, I mean, it makes sense why the crews were changing out every 3 days to a week. Like that's just for the him showing up that late with the camera alone. I've never heard of an environment like this on a set in my entire life.
No one had. Even the people who I was talking to on crew who had like 20 plus years experience were like, I've never seen anything remotely like this.
You experienced an historical event
It
in
was
cinema.
a wonderful way to start.
It is. It was one of the most well-known movies that didn't hit the Oscars. It's crazy.
Definitely.
That's really
It
cool.
is weird. Could you tell what scene I had to shoot with a concussion?
You had a concussion? How did you get it? First of all, how did you get it? Did you get a concussion on set?
Yes.
The trash can scene?
Yes. Basically, there is a scene that we were blocking out and doing quick rehearsal to show for camera, and as we were finishing that up, it was like, okay, everybody clear set so lighting can set up. And so we're walking off of set, and I'm following the crew that was outside the shot, and they're walking in front of me, and there's a flood on the floor going bright light in your face with no lighting behind it, which is pitch black. And there's a wrought iron staircase that you can see that you know well that I walked into head first and literally split my head open and was bleeding.
Oh fuck!
Oh my god.
Trying to not bleed on the one suit. and going out to makeup because there really wasn't any first aid or anything. And we were trying to...
I'm so upset hearing this shit. Like there was no one, there's no first aid, nothing.
No, there really wasn't a paramedic or anything. It was...
Wow.
I went out to makeup because I knew she had a first aid kit, so she had some bandages. But so we stopped the bleeding as much as we could with some like fake skin spray on it and made it up as much as possible so it wasn't blatantly obvious, even though the swelling was starting. And he came out like 5 minutes after it happened, going like, "Where aren't you on set?" And I turned, and I still had blood all over my face, and he totally was like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" So it wasn't like he didn't care. He definitely did not want people to get hurt. He wanted
So
to make sure I was okay.
it didn't feel like a faux concern.
No. He does care about people. His friends are really important to him. He really does try to be good friends with the people that are friends to him. but what he sees as betrayal can be very tricky.
Right. So it can be triggered by something that you wouldn't necessarily consider a betrayal, but he sees that
Exactly.
from his perspective. Right. Okay.
Wait, was it crazy hot in the studio the way they
Oh,
talked about in the
yes. Oh
book?
God, yes. It wasn't a studio. It was sort of like a
You were on
storage area.
Was it so? It was like a warehouse that they built the set in. Is that?
No. It was a place where you could go and rent equipment for filming.
Yeah.
They had a small storage area in the back, which was warehouse-like. It didn't have any real ventilation or anything. It was just like 4 walls and a roof where they stuck storage stuff that they also used as like a test location, which was that weird fake brick wall that you see in some scenes.
Yeah.
That was their test shoot. So you could use a camera and see what it was like and lighting and see what lenses you wanted to use, kind of thing. And so there was no ventilation, but he had bought that camera from them and bought huge amounts of other things and had paid them a lot of money. And he said he wanted to shoot there, so he talked them into letting him rent out that location. And that's where everything was shot. And then as time went on, he needed more stuff, so he would pay them more money to rent out more stuff, which was why the green screen was built in the parking lot there. And pretty much everything except for the stuff that was shot after the main production wrapped up in San Francisco was all there. So the roof scene was in the parking lot as opposed to shooting on a roof.
In the parking lot.
Things like
that roof scene with the roof sequences were shot in a parking lot. So you built up the side. So did you guys build like the rooftop fence, and then the walls, and then you had the green screen around it, so it looked. Oh wow.
The green screen was like probably a good 30-foot green cyclotron.
How the
in the parking lot?
Fuck? I just don't understand where all this money came from.
That's
there were so many
expensive
choices
than
that
a
were made
roof.
as bad as you could make them, if not coming up with insanely worse ways than I would ever consider.
It's genuinely one of the most baffling things in the world to me. This whole
it's like creatively wasteful.
It is creatively wasteful. It's just
the one thing you can say is he was very passionate about getting done the way he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And he was gonna do it, even though everybody had told him, no, you can't do it that way, however many times before. He was not going to let that stop him. And I know many people in this city who have their movie idea that have not gotten even close to being done. And you can say what you want, but he got his movie made, and he is known for it.
And he probably is rich as shit off of it, too. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So how fucking sick are you of talking about this movie, Kyle?
I'm not bothered by it. I'm more than happy to answer questions because it is a curiosity. And every time I get to answer questions, I get to revisit the craziness that I went through and appreciate how it actually changed my life.
Do you feel like, I mean, did it change your life would you say it changed your life in a positive way? Or
Sure.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. Because I feel like it sounds like this experience, it sounds like the filming was pretty dramatic.
To a degree, yes. And as a result, a lot of us on the cast bonded very closely as a result.
Are you still friends with a lot of the cast?
Yeah, I keep in touch with pretty much everybody. I met a lot of fun people through this. In fact, some of my fans earlier today had found the Old Spice commercial that I did, and we're referencing. Everybody's beating up on Peter even when he's not in the room, so it's always fun.
What? There's an Old Spice commercial? Kyle?
Yeah. If you Google Old Spice Terry Crews Punch, I was in the Old Spice commercial where he basically punches me out. It's a 15-second spot. It's very funny and short.
Okay, wait.
It got re-edited by a bunch of people and put into a bunch of video game compilations. And
I found it!
Yep, that's it.
Should I play it real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
Except it's only 15 seconds.
Body wash can't block odor for 16 hours.
What? This one does, dummy. It's
Nice!
for odor blocker body wash. Oh! Power!
Okay.
It was really funny. Tim and Eric directed that. They had
it was Tim and Eric. Oh, that's rad.
Um,
Okay, that also makes a lot of sense.
which is why it's so wacky and fun. The funny thing is, I went through the standard auditioning process through Actors Access. Didn't have an agent at the time, and submitted myself, went in and did the first round and second round. And from what I was told, they didn't know I was auditioning for this at all until they saw the final selection tapes, and they're big fans of the movie.
Oh,
And
so they were like, "Oh, it's that guy. It's funny
Yeah.
Peter." All right,
They're
yeah.
like, oh, we like Peter. We want Peter, which made for a fun set. They're really nice guys, both of them.
Yeah,
And
they're cool. They're cool dudes.
then when I'm on set talking to Terry, I was just like, yeah, I loved you in Idiocracy. That's a hilarious
Oh
movie.
yeah. I watched that again last year just to sort of like revisit after Trump was in office and
Yes. He looked at me. He was like, "Are you a smart guy?" Smart people really like that movie. Which I was like, "Yeah, I've done some stuff." And then I think Tim came over and asked for a picture with me, and so I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." And we went over and got a picture. And as I was walking back, Eric had seen the picture. He's like, "I want one too," and he ran over and he got me to do a picture with him. And Terry looked a little confused, but he's like, whatever. And not 2 shots later, because we did that commercial in about like 4 or 5 takes.
yeah.
The ad agency, the clients on set came over and were like, "We're from Portland and we love it. We watch it almost every month. Can we get pictures with you?" And so I went over to the ad guys and took pictures with the ad team. And that's when I walked back and Terry was looking at me and he goes, "Who the hell are you again?" So
So you
Again.
you outcooled Terry Crews is what you're saying.
no, Terry was much cooler than me, but I did confuse him for a minute. And that's partly from The Room. So yeah, it had a really good impact.
Yeah, well,
The-
honestly, like that. Look, I grew up on Rocky Horror Picture Show, so
Yeah.
I mean, I never saw The Room in theaters. Like, I always wanted to, but I somehow missed like 20 billion opportunities to do it. But there is something about that experience of watching, movies with a shadow cast and everything, and like, yeah, you were part of like a huge part of history. It's really cool.
It's funny.
So
Now, did the people you watched it with, did they yell things and stuff while you guys were watching it? Or did you
no.
all sit there
Oh no, we
and just
talked through
comment?
it. Yeah,
little
we
bit.
definitely
Well,
did. And Mohib is actually a very big fan of The Room, and Mohib was giving us a lot of tips, and giving us some background on a lot of stuff while we were watching it. So,
It does have a big difference when you're seeing it with like 80 to 100 plus people.
oh yeah,
Um,
sure.
They're just like the Rocky Horror thing where people are yelling things. Everybody has their own little secret things that you don't know yet. One of the things that caught on was when there's a lot of kissing scenes with Lisa. When she's kissing, someone goes "ow, ow" every time they kiss. It turns
That's
out-
great.
It turns out I know someone who claims they came up with that. You know that this played at the Sunset 5 for quite a while, and a bunch of people
Right.
would repeatedly go there
hmm
from the industry. I was talking to Dylan Sprouse at one of our D&D gatherings, and he and his brother used to go and watch it all the time.
Huh.
And he said that they're the ones who came up with that. One of the times I went to one of the screens, it was the 7th anniversary. Jessie had never seen the movie, and she said, I had to take her.
hmm
Because the first time she wanted to see it with a crowd with me. So we went to one of the screens at the Sunset 5, and as we're waiting in line to get in, there's a documentary crew walking through the area interviewing people online about this movie because of how
Oh,
big
funny.
it was. That was when it first got popular and was being reported on the news and stuff. And they're going through the people in line, and they interview the people in front of me, and then they go to the people behind me, and then they continue on the line. And everybody around me starts laughing. And then they come back about 5 minutes later, and they're like, people have been telling us that you're in this movie. Can we ask you some questions? So they had no clue that I was even in the movie while they were doing a documentary about the movie. And I'm quickly skimming the chat to see if there's any
Any other
pending
questions?
questions that are important. Riff Tracks guys are amazing. I got to talk to them when they did the
Oh,
the
nice.
second riff tracks of the room.
Yeah.
The live one. And so I was chatting with them. They're very wonderful people too.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, by the way, because I love riff tracks.
Yeah.
They were very inspiring to me. I'm glad I got to see the room so I could ask you all these questions, Kyle.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
We'll have to go to an actual big screening at some point. With
Yeah,
the huge
man.
band.
Take me. Let's go. I'm ready. I need to watch it again. I want to I feel like there's so much I probably missed watching it, and I would love that. That'd be really fun.
Sure, and I get to yell things at the screen that nobody else can.
I need to hear the callback lines because like I had all of the Rocky Horror lines. I had them by heart, and that was like always the best part of the movie too. Was like yelling the lines and the shadow cast, and so I would love
The room
to see.
callbacks.
Yeah,
The room callbacks are not codified. They vary a lot depending on who's there.
that's
So it's not like there's an official list of them. So people do stuff, and I actually make up some while I'm watching the movie at times.
That's fun. I remember being able to like make up lines when I did it. I felt so cool when people started picking up on them. Guys, hire Kyle for some shit. Kyle's great. Like, go follow Kyle. The link is in the chat. It's Kyle Vogt with a VOGT. I'm trying to think if I have any other like pressing questions because I didn't even consider that this was going to turn into this, but I'm like the whole time I was watching that movie, I just all I had were questions without answers. Like that's all. It was just questions.
Sure.
And how much of
You'll
that
have
was?
more after you do the book and see the disaster artist too.
Can I ask you more next time when I do see it?
You can ask me any questions you want anytime you want.
You're the best.